What faith were you raised in?
Initially, Christian Catholic.
Catholic Church?
Catholic Church. Yeah.
Was it just incidental, or did you go to? Were you educated somehow in a religious school?
Well, in high school, I went to a Catholic or a parochial boys' school in East Los Angeles. So it wasn't a far-fetched arrangement. I had gotten into some trouble in the public school system, so they suggested I go to the parochial school. The interesting thing is that my father was actually raised in a parochial environment as well. A parochial environment as well. So,
Did your family go to church?
we weren't very church-oriented, but I caught on in school, high school, rather early, that there was a Torah. And so I started to pursue that, and so it became a conflict for me in religious classes in high school. So I used to fight with the authorities about doctrinal issues and the things that I had read. It seemed contrary to a lot of the liturgy. And so that started me on my way.
Were you disillusioned somehow with the church?
I had a mentor who was guiding me through Torah studies on weekends. And so,
Wait, how did you get involved with Judaism?
well, for that I have to go back to my grandmother. When I was a little lad, little 10, 11, 8-year-old guy, my grandmother used to light candles. And she would always tell us, my brother and I, when we would stay with her, remember Father God. But she'd say it in Spanish. And so that was my first enlightenment to Judaism, because there was nowhere else that they were lighting candles that I could make a connection to. So that was my first clue. It was a series of events after that brought me to closer understanding of Judaism. But inwardly, I just felt a calling that I just couldn't shake. And it was, here's the illustrious rabbi from North Hollywood, Rabbi Block, who was very instrumental in my conversion process, and whom without I probably wouldn't be standing here at this moment as in the capacity of a young Jewish man.
So, whose idea was it for you to convert to Judaism?
Solely my idea. I had relationships, and I told everybody in my life at some point in my interaction with them that I was going to convert to Judaism. And I would always bring up stories about Judaism and Torah, and I'd ask questions to just about everybody while I was growing up, and it was just in me. I just knew, since my grandmother would light candles, that it was in me, that I knew how to do it. I knew at some point I would do it. I was actually married for a small period of time, and I told my wife, hey, let's do this conversion thing. We'll get married. We'll do the conversion thing.
What was her faith?
She didn't believe in anything at the time, and so.
Was she Gentile?
Yes. So she agreed. So we got married, and as I progressed in my Jewish understanding and growth, she became a factor of dissent between the two of us. But that's the nature of the whole process of conversion, is because what you're doing is you're developing yourself, and at the same time you're shedding the things that don't help you to grow and become a stronger person in Judaism.
So, Rabbi Block, don't most of the people who come to conversion classes come for the purpose of marriage?
A lot of them do, not most, a lot of them do. But the sense of their legitimacy is, we won't deny them right away. We'll give them consideration, if in fact they can prove their sincerity. But the bottom line of proving sincerity is simply how much you're willing to put out for it, how much you're willing to observe, how much you're willing to sacrifice for this kind of change. And if both partners are willing to do so, the Jewish and the non-Jewish, together, working together to build a religious family, a Jewish family, then that's acceptable.
What is it about this particular, because you could have converted a lot of ways. You could have converted Reform or Conservative and would have been much simpler. Why did you choose to go the Orthodox route?
there was no other route to take. Orthodoxy was the completion of what I wanted to do from the outset. I also, if I ever plan to get married again, that would just guarantee a smooth transition. But it helped to ground me and establish me also in the Jewish community, because they don't question whether I'm some other belief system, right? So they know I went through Robert Bloch's program. They know they've seen me around. I'm through the minions. I've been to many of the minions around the area here and outside of the community.
Weeknights?
Weeknights and mornings. Yeah.
Shachris, the whole hour?
Mincha, and I've actually done Mincha down in downtown LA, which is kind of fun, with all the Persians, with the garment district, which is it was an interesting experience. But I usually come into the Pico Robertson, La Brea area for Marav.
And you see, not the whole 9 yards, the whole 3 yards.
Yeah.
Shachris, Mincha, and Ma'ariv. It's all you need is 3 yards to get the first down.
So how high do you set the bar for these converts in your classes?
The bar is raised for affiliation and smooth transition and assimilation to the Jewish community. If you are part of a shul, you have a rabbi, you are part of the Jewish experience, you're part of the holidays, the Shabbats, the
Shomer Shabbos?
Shomer Shabbos. You purchase at kosher establishments and
Kosher kitchen?
Kosher kitchen. All of these factors remain established you as a singular or as a couple within the Jewish community. Your kids are going to a Jewish school, to a Hebrew day school. There is almost an absolute sense of connection. And I'd say absolute. There's no room for anything else in life. But what you have now, of course, you do a lot of things in life. Maybe you have this hobby or that hobby or this job or that job. But your life, essentially, is your commitment to your religion and to your people.
So that's purely when I say superficial in terms of what other people see. What about internally? What's the change that you encourage?
The internal change is a deep faith in God. It's got to be very spiritual, got to be very religious.
Christians have consider themselves the believers. They have a strong faith in God. What's different? What's different for you?
Well, it grounded me. All right, so I had that Christian influence with the insights. I sat through many different Christian churches and sat in the pews, and I always asked myself, well, why are they trying to do something Jewish? And then one day it hit me. They're trying to be Jewish. They're trying to validate what they're saying, what they're doing. And so when I got that epiphany, I just picked myself up and I said, okay, let's move into Judaism and let's do this the right way. So what that did for me internally is it helped ground me. It gave me more focus and more determination to have a Jewish life. Whereas, keeping kosher, davening 3 times a day, and to fill in. And I really look forward to Shabbos. Shabbos is just my whole week is about Shabbos, right? It's about looking forward to Shabbos and then remembering Shabbos, right? And then looking forward to the next one. And of course the holidays, right? So,
do you perceive any anti-Semitism from people when they see you wearing your yarmulke or tzitzis?
Actually, I've had both things happen, both being negative and positive. The positive was I actually had a couple people walk up to me seeing my yarmulke and my tzitzi, and they said, hey, could you give us a bracha? And I was like,
Jews?
No, not Jews. Gentiles. Right off the street. And that was empowering. That was actually reaffirming and strength building. And so I have many friends that are not Jewish, and so some of them question my direction, and while they don't overtly give me a negative comment, I can tell they're not as close to me as they used to be. So, whatever their conversation is, I have no part of that.
But what's the big difference, the big change for you religiously in your perception of God, the world, and you?
Well, now I'm more conscious about what I do, where I go, what I eat, how I act. Yeah, and so now, interestingly enough, I work in downtown LA, so I see a lot of homeless, And so now, whereas before I would drive by and really sort of not given care to someone else's plight, now I'll stop and I'll offer something or help out in some way. So there's a generosity that's been strengthened within me. I don't know where it really, maybe it was always there, I just never tapped into it.
Well, that's an attitudinal change, that's a behavioral change, but it's a change. That's the key word, change.
Well, yeah,
Conversion means to change. If you're the same person after you've converted, that conversion is worthless. If you're doing the same things and you're having the same mindset, it's worthless. Now, frankly, that should be a key word towards any religious experience. I'm going to daven this morning. If when I finish my davening this morning, I'm not changed over that last half hour, 45 minutes as I move on to work, then I wasted my time. With all the due respect to the tefillin, there has to be a certain sense of experiential growth, and that is really the story of a human being. A human being needs to realize he needs to grow. If you want to become a 25-year-old adult with a 15-year-old mind, then what have you done? Frankly, the kids go to Jewish education, let's say in those bar mitzvah factory temples, where they go to the Hebrew school till they're 13, learn to parrot some words they don't know what it's talking about. They haven't got the slightest idea what the Hebrew means. They recite it, and everyone gets all excited, gives them a big party. But the truth of the matter is, and then they leave, by the way. The truth of the matter is, nothing's been accomplished. I mean, so now he's 23 with a 13-year-old Jewish education. And he's 23 years old. He's got a 23-year-old college education, but his 13-year-old, but his Jewishness is 13, and he's going to carry that with him for the rest of his life.
So tefillin's helped me a lot. Tefillin, it was really surprising how
Tefillin on your head every morning.
I put it on my head. I wrap it on my arm every morning, and it's my time with Hashem. But it's also a strengthening moment. I have to get up early, right? So I'm up before anybody else is up, and I'm working. I'm davening. I'm spending this quality time with Hashem, and I'm looking forward to the day because I know that's emboldened me and strengthened me to help move forward in this walk. And on another note, so I was with the shul for quite a number of years, and so now I'm part of the minyan, which means I'm part of the guys. It's part of I now can affiliate.
You're part of our people,
and
that's the
communicate key. with these men. And they call on me to help them from time to time to be a part of the minyan, or whether it's not for the shul or for family issues. And so now I really have developed into the man I'd always wanted to be when I was younger. And I had a thought about being, and I just never was able to develop. Thanks to Rabbi Block, I was able to make that step in that transition into a more human being. And
good Christians are good human beings as well.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, sure,
but they haven't got the kind of connection, affiliation within community that we do. And the reason for that is very simple. We're a family. We're an unusual nation. A nation that, with all of its different modes and customs and different communities, Sephardic, Ashkenaz, Hasidic, Lithuanian, all of us are one family at the end of the day. If you're part of us, you're part of the family, and that Christians don't have.
But
Christians are a religion. Our religion is only the basis for our peoplehood. Our peoplehood is defined by the religion, but at the end of the day, it's a peoplehood.
But the vast majority of American Jews, North American Jews, Canadians too, and even Western European Jews, South American Jews around the world, they're not davening together 3 times or twice a day. They're not going to each other's homes for Shabbat, and yet are they lesser people?
They're missing out. They're not enjoying the full benefit. You're part of a people, enjoy it. My Rebbe used to say, "Tzvi, are you doing mitzvahs?" I said, "Yes, Rebbe." Well, then enjoy doing the mitzvahs. Why should you live a life of commitment without the benefits? It's foolish. I'm a Jew. I'm not religious. I walk down the street, anti-Semitic slurs come at me, and I haven't got the slightest idea what it's all about and why let me get out of here. I don't want to be Jewish. being Jewish is a pleasure. It's a joy. Well, then, if you're going to have to suffer this anti-Semitic slurs or other difficulties that we do face in life, make sure that it's worth the price.
What?
Worth the price?
So one of the things I noticed is that many Christian friends stopped asking me questions.
What sort of question?
Well, first off, their whole program is about conversion also. And so I don't try to convert them. I just give them information about what it is they're saying. And many, sadly, are misinformed about their texts and their ideologies. So when they do come to me and they ask me religious questions, I give them straight answers. I now know the Torah well enough to say, hey, look here, this is what you're going to find. This is why this guy said what he said. And this is the basis for why these people do these particular things.
So once you do that, how does that affect their relationship with you?
Well, it's been a mixed bag a little bit. For the most part, they know that there's a Mashiach. They know that there's going to be a change in the world. They know there's going to be a kingdom. They're holding on tightly to their belief system because they've only been taught that. And so when they have questions, it's them popping their head up and saying, well, what about this? Or why is it that way? And I'm there. I'm there. Because I've lived on both sides of the aisle. I can now associate or affiliate with what they're saying and then give them the direction and the insights from a Torah perspective. And man,
but you're right. But you're right about the idea that they've been programmed.
Right.
And so that's why they've got difficulties with trying to understand where we're at. They've been programmed to the exact opposite.
It's a road I walk very gingerly. I don't hit them with the book. I don't hit them over the head. That's not going to do any good for them or for me. I'm trying to cultivate the relationship so that it's lasting. So I have friends from elementary school. I'm an older man now, so I try to maintain my relationships for long periods of time. Yeah. So if somebody, here's an example. A friend of mine had a daughter who passed away, and so I wanted to connect with her. And she's a married woman with other children, and it was just a friendship, right? So it's like I wanted to convey something to her. So I passed on a video from one of the more prominent worldwide rabbis about his insights about what happens after you die, what happens after life. And she was profoundly blown away by the insight because she had never heard it before. So then I used that tool to help solidify the relationship. And I wasn't being malicious, and everybody was happy. So,
but at the same time, you weren't oppressive in terms of in terms of imposing your idea, but you did share it. And that's good.
Right, sure.
There's nothing wrong with sharing those ideas and values or beliefs, and by sharing it, we'll share it with the world. It's universal. Without having the need to convert, we're not looking for anybody to convert. You're still entitled to insights and to thoughts and to perspectives. And that video offered it.
How are Jews supposed to treat converts?
He's my buddy. He's my brother.
He's your student too, so you know him. But what about a stranger?
Any convert to Judaism is a member of our people, an MOT, a member of the tribe. He is full-fledged. He's with us, and he's a brother and a member of our people. And that's to look at a convert any other way less than that is inappropriate and against halacha. It's against Jewish law.
What does halacha treat about how to treat the convert?
Extra special. Because converts oftentimes, we all have our own families. Converts oftentimes don't. Their families are non-Jewish, so they're alone. Right. They deserve an extra dose of love. And the Torah teaches that. Torah teaches love your friend, love your fellow Jew. Torah also says love a convert. That means if the Torah says it once or twice, those two different passages, you got to love a convert an extra special time.
I've seen where a convert as literally went on this road, and the family they just fell away. They would not deal with that person anymore.
They're left alone.
So it takes a lot of strength, a lot of inner strength, a lot of courage. And there's something within the convert that I've noticed in talking to other converts it's like a fire within the soul that's just, there's a desire to move forward in this direction. And It's hard to explain. It's a feeling. It's
You've
an
explained
idea.
it quite well.
Is there anything negative about marrying a convert, for instance?
Not at all. Not at all. Celebration. I know convert students of mine that married rabbis. Rabbis, teachers, prominent members in our community.
They married converts.
Married converts, and those converts are more religious than most.
It's been my experience that I have several friends, obviously, who are converts and married into the Jewish family, and they're more observant and more keen and more sensitive to Jewish customs and practices than somebody who was born into.
Than a whole gang of others. Absolutely.
We have to be, right?
And-
it's required
and-
upon
and-
us.
and
And
that-
not only that, you actually told me, you swear you're going to do this on your life.
Right.
And he did.
Well,
he
that,
did.
yeah.
And
I
commit to the lifestyle.
take an oath. Take an oath.
Take an oath.
But I think that's the determining factor. The fact is that these people are so committed that gives you a view into their legitimacy. When you see someone that committed, you know that's legitimate.
Is it possible that he's too religious for most Jewish girls now?
Well, listen. Listen. I've the idea of making a shidduch and bringing two people together to build a family and so forth is always a challenge, particularly when people have all their own personal viewpoints and religious viewpoints. Right. Still, nevertheless, people must learn in marriage to work it out. But again, the idea of being too religious only is when the observance factor is greater than the love factor in the heart. It's got to be connected. It's got to be equal. If you have it in your heart and it leads naturally to an observance level, that's beautiful. But if you're trying to push something on or extend yourself when you're not yet ready there on an emotional or spiritual level, that's incorrect.